Here is the WASSCE 2021 paper 1. We are going to solve questions 1 through 40. So we are beginning with the first one. We are to simplify 1 over 2 minus root 3 plus 2 over 2 plus root 3. So here is the question given to us. We need to find the LCM for this, which is the product of the denominators. So this goes here. We are left with 2 plus root 3. We need to multiply the numerator here. We repeat the same process here. So this comes here. We are left with 2 minus root 3. Then we multiply this by this, and that gives us this result. So let's expand, then apply the difference of 2 squares in the denominator. So that gives us this result. We combine like terms here. 4 plus 2 is 6, then this and this. Root 3 minus 2 root 3 will give us negative root 3. So we have 6 minus root 3 over 4 minus 3. Now we need to apply the law of indices here. We reciprocate this, then change the sign to positive. If it were positive, we also do the same thing, and the sign becomes negative. But if it were positive, there's no need for us to do the reciprocation here. But because it's negative, we have to do that, and that will give us this result. So the denominator we rationalize by multiplying both the numerator and the denominator by the conjugate of 6 minus root 3, which is 6 plus root 3. So we have another difference of squares here. So we are going to get 6 squared minus root 3 squared. Then the top remains the same. So when we simplify this, we obtain 1 over 33 plus 1 over 33 into 6 plus root 3. So that will give us this. This is a quadratic inequality. For what range of values of x is x squared minus 2x minus 3 less than or equal to 0? So this is a quadratic inequality. We don't have only 2 or 1 value. You have a range of values. So for this particular term, we are going to have range of values. So let's solve. We first look out to factorize the left hand side by splitting this term here. So factors of negative 3 that will add up to negative 2 is 1 and negative 3. Now we factorize to obtain this. So solving for this quadratic equation, if we ignore the inequality, you solve for the equation. You obtain x equal 3, which is here, and x equal negative 1. So these boundaries have created 3 regions. 1, 2, 3. So we are going to test the inequality here with any value from these regions. So let's say we pick 0 from here, and we substitute here. We get negative 3 times 1, which is negative 3. So negative 3 is less than or equal to 0. That statement is true. So it means this region, any value within this region will satisfy this inequality. That's why the answer is supposed to be this. But if you had tested and it didn't satisfy, then it means this no value here will satisfy. So you have to pick a value here or here to test. Now let's move on to the question 3. We are given that the matrix M is having the following entries, and the matrix N is having the entries as given, we have to calculate 3M minus 2N. So these are the matrices. M is having entries 3, 2, negative 1, 4. Then 3 times of this, we multiply all the entries, each entry by 3. So this will give you 9, this will give you 6, then this will give you negative 3, this and this will give you 12. The same thing we are going to repeat for the N. So we multiply the N by 2 to get this result. Now we have to subtract this and this. So that will give you subtracting corresponding entries. So 9 minus 10 is negative 1. Then 6 minus 12 is negative 6. Negative 3 minus 4 is 1. 12 minus 6 is 18. So we get this. The fourth question. We have to simplify the logarithm 1 over 3 log 8 plus 1 over 3 log 64 minus 2 log 6. So we apply the laws of logarithm. So the power rule of logarithm, this comes to raise this. This also comes to raise this. Now we need to simplify this using the product rule. So this and this will have to multiply, and the quotient this will divide. So the cubic root of 8 is 2, and the cubic root of 64 is 4. So when we simplify that, that will give us 2 times 4 over 36, which is equal to 2 log 2 over 9 over here. So you could also simplify this first, getting 2 here and getting 4 here, before you apply the property, the product and the quotient rule for logarithm. So the answer is, now let's move on to question 5. We have to solve the equation. Solve 1 over 9 exponent x plus 2 is equal to 243 exponent x minus 2. So this is the equation given to us. We seek to find a common base of the logarithms of the initial equations. So 1 over 9 is the same as 9 exponent negative 1 exponent x plus 2. And over here we have 3 exponent 5 for this. So this is not common, so we can go further by writing this as 3 exponent negative 2. That will give us this. So now that the bases are equal, we equate the exponents to get this. So let's open the parentheses to get negative 2x minus 4 is equal to 5x minus 10 here. Then now we group like terms. So we get 5x plus 2x. Then we have negative 4 plus 10. So that will give us 6 is equal to 7x. So x equals 6 over 7. X is equal to 6 over 7. Now question 6. If g of x is equal to 2x plus 3 and f of x is equal to 3x squared minus 2x plus 4, we are supposed to find f of g of negative 3. So composition of functions. The function g will operate and f will operate on the result. So g of negative 3, it means we have to find f of g of x. you can choose to substitute -3 into this. Then after that will give you -3. Then you put the result in this. You get the same result. So we can also decide to go this way. Then we substitute -3 for x, and that will give us this. So wherever we see x in f of x, we substitute with 2x plus 3. That is what we are doing. Wherever we see x in f of x, we put g of x there. G of x is 2x plus 3. So that is what we have done here. We have different ways that you can do it. You can also choose to put the -3 in this. Then after that, you put the result in this. You get the same answer. So that will give you 3 times of -3 squared minus 2 times of -3 plus 4. That will give you 27 plus 10, which is 37. Now we have question 7 here. Using the binomial expansion of this 1 plus x, using the binomial expansion of 1 plus x exponent 6 is equal to 1 plus 6x is equal to 1 plus 6x plus 15x squared plus 20x cubed plus 5 plus 15x exponent 4 plus 6x exponent 5 plus x exponent 6. Find correct 3 decimal places the value of 1.998 exponent 6. So this is the expansion given to us. So we need to rewrite this to look like 1 plus a certain number. That will be 1 plus 0.998. 1 plus 0.998. So it means when you compare this and this, x is equal to 0.998. So wherever you see x here, you substitute with 0.998. And that will give us this. Now when you simplify all of this, you get this. 63.616958720096. And when you approximate it to 3 decimal places, you get 63.617. 63.617. Question 8. In how many ways can 8 persons be seated on a bench if only 3 seats are available? So we are going to use permutation here. That will give you 8 permutation 3. So 8 permutation 3 will give you 8 factorial over 8 minus 6 factorial. So that will give you, the expansion of this is 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 factorial. We ended here because we are getting 5 factorial in the denominator. That will cancel this. And that will give you 336 ways. So 3 seats are available on the bench. So that's why we are using permutation. It's going to be different positions. Now we have this question 9 here. If alpha and beta are the roots of 3x squared minus 7x plus 6 equals 0, find the value of 1 over alpha plus 1 over beta. So we take 1 over alpha and 1 over beta and simplify. So we can simplify this. You get we get alpha plus beta over alpha beta, and alpha plus beta is minus b over a. Alpha beta is c over a. So we substitute into this to obtain 7 over 3 over 6 over 3. So this, we cancel this, we have 7 over 6 as the result here. Then we have this question 10. If f of x equals 4x cubed plus px squared plus 7x minus 23 is divided by 2x minus 5. The value is this. Find the value of p. So we have the divisor to be 2x minus 5, which means that x is equal to 5 over 3. That is when we set this equal to 0. Then we're given the remainder to be 7. So we use the remainder theorem. F of 5 over 2 should give us the remainder. That's what we have done here. So wherever we see x in f of x, we substitute with 5 over 2. So we just have to simplify this, and when we solve for p, we had negative 8, which is the same as negative 8.0.
See, it is still red. You have to click it so that if I upload the next video, you'll be informed. Click the bell icon too, so that you get a notification whenever I upload a new video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.
Question 11. For what value of k is 4x squared minus 12x plus k a perfect square? So this is question 11 of WASSCE 2021. Elective mathematics. So, this is a quadratic expression, and a equal 4, b equal negative 12, and c equal k. So b squared minus 4ac equals 0 if this is a perfect square. So we substitute the a, b, and c. 12 squared is 144, and this will give us minus 16k. We now solve for k to get 9. And another way you can go about it is to see a squared minus 2ab plus b squared is of the form a minus b all squared. So this form is what is given here. So we have 4x squared minus 12x plus k. So these two here must be factored out of this to get 6x inside. So if you compare this and this, you can see that the a is 2x. So the b is what you multiply by 2x to get 6x, which is 3. So you have to square the 3 here so that this whole thing will factor into 2x minus 3 all squared. 2x minus 3 all squared. So it means that the k is 9. K is equal to 3 squared, which is 9. So the answer is a binary operation is defined on the set of real numbers by p star q is equal to q squared minus p squared over 2pq. We have to find 3 star 2. So we just have to substitute p for 3 and q for 2. And that will give us this expression here. 2 squared is 4 minus 9, which is 3 squared, over 12. And that will give us negative 5 over 12. Evaluate this integral. Negative 2 to 3 of 4x cubed plus 6x squared minus 7 dx. So this is the integral given to us. So we integrate and then substitute the limits. So if you integrate 4x cubed, you get 4x exponent 4 over 4. If you integrate 6x squared, you get 6x cubed over 3. For integration, you add to the exponent, divide by the result. And this one it will give you negative 7x. This is an indefinite integral, so you may choose not to bring this. So this will give us this substitution, and when we substitute, we simplify to get 114 minus 14. That will give you 100. We have to find the inverse of the matrix given. So to find the inverse of the 2 by 2 matrix, we find the determinant, which is the product of the leading diagonal minus the product of the trace. So that will give us the product of the minor diagonal. So that will give us this negative 8 plus 6, and that will give you negative 2. So the inverse is given by 1 over determinant of this matrix times we swap the leading diagonal, then we negate the minor. So this will give us something like this, and when we divide through, that is when we use the scalar multiplication of half, we get the result giving us this. Question 15. Given that P is such that x is from 0 to 36 inclusive, x is such that x is a factor of 36 divisible by 3, and q is also 0 to 36 inclusive, x is an even number and a perfect square. We have to find P intersection Q. So let's list the elements of each set. So these are the elements of set P, and then the element of set Q. Then we have to find the intersection. So the intersection will be 16. The intersection will be 36. That's the only intersection there, 36. We have question 16. A box of mass 15 kg is placed on a rough plane inclined at 60 degrees to the horizontal. If the box is at rest, calculate the normal reaction to the plane. So we're given the gravity due to acceleration to be 10 meters per second squared. Now this over here is the normal reaction is equal to the vertical component, downward vertical, of the weight when we resolve it. So mg cos 60 degrees, which is the angle given over here. So this is a diagram for the representing the problem. So we need to substitute the mass, which is 15 kg. Then substitute the gravity due to acceleration, which is 10 meters per second square. Then we simplify to get 75 newtons. 75.0 newtons. Question 17. A fair die is tossed 60 times, and the results are recorded in the table as shown. Find the probability of obtaining a prime number. So the prime numbers are 2, 3, and 5. These are the frequencies. So the number of times is 10. Add all the corresponding frequencies of the prime numbers, which is 10 plus 14 plus 8. And divide by the total outcome, which is 60. That will give you 32 over 60, which is the same as 8 over 15. If 2y squared plus 7 is equal to 3y minus xy, find the y dx. So this is on implicit differentiation. So we have 2y squared plus 7 is equal to 3y minus xy. So now this will we differentiate implicitly. So differentiating this will give you 4y divided x, because the independent variable is y. If you differentiate it, you have to introduce this, the divided x, to show that we are differentiating with respect to x. Then if you differentiate a constant, you get 0. If you differentiate this, you get 3 divided x. So this is a product rule here, so we can bring the parentheses to avoid confusion. So differentiate, hold the x, differentiate the y, you get divided x. Then hold the y and differentiate the x, you get 1. 1 times y is y. So we can now expand this to obtain this. We now group all the terms containing divided x on the left hand side over here. So we can now factor divided x on the left hand side to get this. Now we just divide through by 4y plus x minus 3, and that will give us the answer to be negative y over 4y plus x minus 3. So 3 forces, F1 8 Newton 30 degrees, F2 10 Newton 150 degrees, and F3 k Newton 240 degrees are in equilibrium. Find the value of k. So this is how we go about it. We can resolve all the forces into component form. Then we add all of them and equate to 0 if they are in equilibrium. So let me do a rough sketch here. So this the F1 will be in the first quadrant here. So this is F1. Then F2 will be in the second quadrant because it's 150. Then the F3 will be in the third quadrant because it's 240. So we are going to consider the angle it makes with the positive x-axis, or the angle it makes with the direction of the positive x-axis, or simply the angle it's making with the x-axis here. So over here we have 30 here, and over here we also have 30 because this is 150, and we also have 60 here because 180 to 240 is 60. That's what we are getting here. And because this is in the third quadrant, we have negative values for both the x and y coordinate. And this is in the second quadrant, so we have only the x coordinate being negative. This in the first quadrant, so we have this. Now we simplify by substituting the values of the cosine and sine of the respective angles that it makes with the x-axis, and that will give us these results. Now we are going to simplify on the left, and erase the ink. So if we simplify on the x components, we get this. And if we simplify the y component, we get this. So we equate the component to 0, the corresponding component. We have this one equal k over 2 equal negative root 3, and that will give us k equal negative 2 root 3. Then we have the vertical component also giving us k over root 3 over 2, k root 3 over 2 equal 9, and that will give us these results, 6 root 3 magnitude. So that's corresponding to B over here. Now let's look at this number 30. In triangle PQR, PQ is this, and QR is 4i plus 3j. Find RP. So we use the triangular law of vector addition. PQ plus QR should give you PR. So PQ plus QR should give you PR. Now we are looking for RP, not PR, so we negate both sides. When we negate both sides, we know the negative of PR is RP. So that will give us RP. Now we just have to substitute the component given to us here into the vectors, and that will simplify. 5i, 4i will give us 9i. Negative 2 plus 3 will give you positive I, positive j. So this will give us negative 9i minus j.
See, it is still red. You have to click it so that if I upload the next video, you'll be informed. Click the bell icon too so that you get a notification whenever I upload a new video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.
A stone is thrown vertically upwards, and its distance, s meters after t seconds, is given by s equal 12t plus 5 over 2t squared minus t cubed. Use this information to answer questions 21 and 22. Calculate the maximum height reached. So to find the maximum height reached, let's first of all differentiate this to get 12 plus 5t minus 3t squared. If you differentiate this function in terms of time with respect to time, you get this over here. So we want to determine the time where the maximum height occurred. So we equate this to 0 and solve for t. We equate it to 0 because at the maximum height, the slope of the tangent line is horizontal, or the slope is 0. Now we solve for the values of t and we get these two values. Let's assume that it's a general value for general values at which the tangents to these functions are horizontal. We need to determine which one is maximum and which one is minimum. So we perform the second derivative test. So we differentiate this again to obtain 5 minus 60. So 5 minus 60, we substitute these values to see which one is less than 0. The one that is less than 0 will give us the time at which the height is maximum. So when we do the substitution, substitute the 3 and the negative 4 over 3, we find out that at time t equal 3, the stone is at its maximum because it is less than 0. When the second derivative is less than 0, it means the distance is at its maximum, or let's say in this case displacement is at its maximum. Now we have to substitute this to substitute t equal 3 into the distance or displacement function to find the maximum displacement or maximum distance. So when we do the substitution, t equal 3 into this, we get 31.5 meters. So it means the maximum height reached is 31.5. Calculate the distance traveled in the 30 seconds. So distance traveled in the 30 seconds is the difference between the distance traveled in the first 3 seconds and the distance traveled in the first 2 seconds. So let's find the distance traveled in the first 2 seconds by substituting t equal 2 into the function. That will give us 26 meters. Then we also find the distance traveled in the first 3 seconds. That will also give us 31.5 meters. Now we have to find the distance traveled in the 3rd seconds by subtracting this from this, and that will give us 5.5 meters. Given that f prime of x equal x cubed root x, find f of x. So we're given the antiderivative. We were given the integral, so we need to find. We were given the derivative function. We need to find the antiderivative. So we have to integrate this. So let's integrate. First of all, we can rewrite this using indices. So x exponent 3 times x exponent half. The root here means x exponent half. Then apply the product rule to get the addition of the exponent, and that will give us x exponent 7/2. So we integrate both sides, and that will give us x exponent 9/2 over 9/2. And we simplify this, we get 2x exponent 9/2 all over 9 plus c. If 1 minus 2x exponent 4 is equal to 1 plus px plus qx squared minus 32x cubed plus 16x exponent 4, find the value of q minus p. So we have to expand this. After expanding, then we substitute the values and simplify. So when we expand this 1 minus 2x exponent 4 using the Pascal triangle, the coefficient is this. So that will give us this expansion. When we simplify, we obtain this. So we now compare this and this. You can see that p equal to -8 and q is equal to 24. So we now substitute into this expression here, 24 minus -8, and that will give us 32. If sin x equal 12/13 and sin y is equal to 4/5, where x and y are both acute angles, we have to find cos x plus y. So we can use this right angle triangle to find the hypotenuse, to find the missing side for angle x and angle y. So that is what we have done here. Now the cosine of angle x will be 5/13. We are given the sine of x. We're also given the sine of y. So we have to find the cosine of y, which is 3/5. So we substitute into the expansion of cos x plus y, which is under multiple angles or double angles. This is the double angle formula for cos x plus y. So we substitute these values and this into this formula. Then when we simplify, we get 15/65 minus 48/65, which gives us -33/65. The first term of an arithmetic progression is 4. and the sum of the first three terms is 18. Find the product of the first three terms. So we're given the first term to be 4, which is a equal 4, and the sum of the first three terms is 18. So it means that 18 is equal to 3 over 2 into 2a plus 2d, because n equals 3. This is the sum of the first three terms. Now we have to substitute a equal 4 into this and calculate for d. So that will give us d to be equal to 6 minus 4, which is equal to 2. So we have the first term to be 4 and the common difference to be 2. So we have to find the product of the first three terms. So the second term is 6, then the third term is 8. So their product will be 4 times 6 times 8, which is 192. A committee consists of 6 boys and 4 girls. In how many ways can a subcommittee consisting of 3 boys and 2 girls be formed if one particular boy and one particular girl must be on the subcommittee? So we're giving the number of boys to be 6, and we're also giving the number of girls to be 4. Now, selecting one particular boy and girl will leave the total number of boys to be 5 and the total number of girls to be 3. And out of that, we have only one more boy and a girl that are to be selected of these one girl and one boy. Now, the number of ways we can select 2 boys from 5 boys is 5 combination 2, which is 10. And the number of ways we can select 1 girl from 3 girls is 3. Then we have only one way of selecting one particular boy and one way of selecting one particular girl. So in all, the number of ways we can form a subcommittee consisting of 3 boys and 2 girls if one particular boy and one particular girl must be on the subcommittee is the product of 10, 3, and 1, which is equal to 30. The common ratio of a geometric progression is 2. If the fifth term is greater than the first term by 45, find the sum of the first 5 terms. So we're given that the fifth term is greater than the first term by 45. So that is going to give us this relation. It means the difference between the fifth term and the first term is 45. Then we're also given that the first term is, the common ratio is 2. So we substitute r equal 2 into this to obtain this relation. So this will give us 15a equal 45, and a is 3 now. We have to find the sum of the first 5 terms. So the sum of the first 5 terms is given by this. We can find the first 5 terms and add them, or we can also use the formula. So that will give us 93. Okay, so we have question 29 here. We are to solve this equation. So first of all, the equation is given as this. Then we can send this one to the other side to get negative root 5 cos x. Now we divide both sides by cos x and divide both sides by root 15 to get this relation. We can simplify this using the laws of set. So we can give all of them one square root, so we get 5 over 15, which is 1 over 3. When you rationalize, you get root 3 over 3. So we are solving a tangent function. So we have negative root 3 over 3 here, tan x equal negative root 3 over 3. So we look for the quadrant where the tangent is negative. The tangent is negative in the, so we have cast. So tan is negative in the second quadrant and the fourth quadrant. So in the second quadrant, you are going to get 180 minus the tan inverse of the angle. The negative is what is given as the second quadrant and the fourth quadrant. So the tan inverse of the acute angle, which is the tan inverse of this, will give us the acute angle. We subtract that acute angle from 180 to find why it is negative in the second quadrant, and we subtract that angle from 360 to find why it is the angle why it is negative in the fourth quadrant. So that will give us tan inverse of root 3 over 3 is 30 degrees. So 360 minus 30 will give you 330. 180 minus 30 will give you 150. So this is the correct answer. If 2i plus pj and 4i minus 2j are perpendicular, find the value of p. So we use the dot product. So if two vectors are perpendicular, their dot product should be 0. So we dot the two vectors by multiplying the corresponding components, then adding them, equating it to 0. So when we do that, we get 8 minus 2p equals 0, because this times this is 8 and this times this is negative 2p. Now we solve for the p to get p equal 4.
See, it is still red. You have to click it so that if I upload the next video, you'll be informed. Click the bell icon too so that you get a notification whenever I upload a new video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.
WASSCE 2021 Elective Mathematics Paper 1. You are please welcome to these video tutorials where we'll be solving question 31 through 40 for the next few minutes. Question 31. Consider the following statements. X. Benita is polite. Y. Benita is neat. Z. Benita is intelligent. Which of the following symbolizes a statement? Benita is neat if and only if she is neither polite nor intelligent. So the given statement is this: Benita is neat if and only if she is neither polite nor intelligent. Now, what we need to do is to write the equivalent form of neither polite nor intelligent. This statement here, propositional statement. So we write the equivalent form of this to obtain this. When they say you are neither polite nor intelligent, it also means you are not polite and not intelligent. So this is the conjunction used for this. So now what we have to do is the statement that is given to us, Benita is polite, is X, but now Benita is not polite. So we negate it. Negation of X is Benita is not polite. Then N will give us the disjunction symbol, and will give us the conjunction symbol. Then not intelligent. Benita is not intelligent, so the negation of this statement, which is negative Y. So this gives us the symbolic representation as this. The Y, Benita is neat. This symbol stands for if and only if. So this symbol is for the biconditional statement, if and only if. Now, the negation of X, not polite. Benita is not polite. Because of the not, we negate the X. The not intelligent, we negate this. So N is the symbol for N. So that will give us the answer, which is B. Another way you can also go about it is this. Benita is neat if and only if she is neither polite nor intelligent. So you can write it this way. Benita is neat if and only if she is not, into bracket, polite or intelligent. These two statements are equivalent in logic. So this is what we are going to do. We are going to use the symbol for not, then the symbol for or, then the statements, we represent them with their variables. So that's what we do, and we obtain something like this. So Y, if and only if the negation of X or Z. So now we are going to use this negation to expand this, and that will give us something like this. A negation of X, and when you negate the disjunction, you get a conjunction. Then we negate this one too. So all of them will give you the same result, which is option B. Now we have question 32. A bag contains 8 red, 4 blue, and 2 green identical balls. 2 balls are drawn randomly from the bag without replacement. Find the probability that the balls drawn are red and blue. So number of red balls, we have 8, then blue 4, then green 2. And the sample space is the total number. Adding all these, we get 14. Then probability that the ball drawn are red and green is either the first one is red, second one is blue, or the first one is blue and second one is red. Since the drawing is done without replacement, the sample space will be affected each time one is drawn. So that will give us probability of the first one being red is 8 over 14 times 2 over 13 plus second one being blue and plus probability that the first one is blue and the second one is red is 2 over 14 times 8 over 13. So when we simplify this, we get 16 over 91. Find the equation of the normal to the curve y equal 2x squared minus 5x plus 10 at p of 1, 7. So how do you go about this? We first determine the derivative of the function which gives us the gradient function, which is 4x minus 5. And what do we do next? We find the gradient by substituting x equal 1 into the first derivative. So that will give us the gradient to be 4 minus 5, which is negative 1. That is the gradient of the tangent. To find the gradient of the normal, we find the negative reciprocal of negative 1, which is 1. So we use these points, we use these gradients and the point 1, 7. So y minus y1, so y1 is 7 and x1 is 1, and the gradient of the normal is 1. So we substitute and simplify to get y minus x minus 6 equals 0 is the equation of the normal. The gradient of y equals 3x squared plus 11x plus 7 at px of y is ps comma y is negative 1. Find the coordinates of p. So we're given the function 3x squared plus 11x plus 7. So the derivative, first derivative will give us the gradient, which is the gradient function dy dx equals 6x plus 11. And this is equal to negative 1, so we equate it to negative 1. Then we solve for x. So x will be equal to negative 2. Now we have to substitute this into this function to get the corresponding y value there. So that will give us negative 3. So it means the point is negative 2, negative 3. Find the derivative of y equal 3x squared into 2x plus 1, bracket close, with respect to x at the end point, with respect to x at the point x equal 2. So this is the function given to us, so we can use different procedures. First, we are going to just expand and differentiate. So if you expand this, you get 6x cubed plus 3x squared. Then we differentiate term by term. So that will give us dy dx is equal to 18x squared plus 6x. Now we're told that the point is x equal 2. So we substitute x equal 2 into this function, and that will give us 84. Find the radius of the circle with equation 2x squared minus 4x plus 2y squared minus 6y minus 2 is equal to 0. So this is the formula you can use, r equal g squared plus f squared minus c. You can use this. So we are going to use these two different approaches here. So this is the first approach. So the g is found by comparing the general equation to the given equation. So when you do that, you see that the g is negative 1, f is negative 3 over 2, and c equal to negative 1. So we just have to substitute these values into this, and that will give us the radius to be square root of 17 over 2. And we're using the second approach too. So with that one, we are going to complete the square over here. So we'll get 2x squared minus 4x plus 2y squared minus 6y minus 2. So first, let's factor 2 out to obtain this, and divide through by 2 to obtain this. Let's complete the square for x squared minus 2x. So we add half of this, the square of half of this, which is 1, to this. We add it to the other side too. Then we add the square of half of this, which is negative 3 over 2 squared. That will give us 9 over 4. we add it to the right hand too. So that will give us this expression. Now what you need to do is to complete the square here. That is, you finish completing the square, so you factorize here and simplify on the right hand side. So when you simplify this by collecting LCM, you get 17/4. Now we rewrite it as the standard form of the equation. And that will give you this over here. So we have x minus a squared plus y minus b all squared equal r squared. By comparing, you see that r is equal to 17/2. So we are done for this question. Now let's move on to question 37. Given that f is such that x maps onto x squared minus x plus 1 is defined on the set Q, that is the domain. X is such that x is greater than or equal to 0, x is less than or equal to 20, x is less than 20, and where x is a multiple of 5, find the range of f. So the range of values, to find the range of values, we need to get the domain. So we're told that the domain is from this set where x is a multiple of 5. So multiples of 5 are 5, 10, 15. So to find the range, we have to plug in the domain into the function. So f of 5, f of 10, f of 15. But the function is f of x equal x squared minus x plus 1. So we put in x equal 5 to get 21. We put in x equal 10 to get 91. We put in x equal 5 to get 211. So it means the range of values are 21, 91, 211. Okay, so number 38, we have this on partial fractions. If 50 minus 2x over x plus 4x minus 2 is equal to r over x plus 4 plus 9 over 7 to bracket x minus 3, find the value of r. So this is what we're given. Now what do we need to do? We need to collect the LCM on the left hand side, on the right hand side, and that will give us this. We want to make the denominator to be equal to this, so we can multiply the denominator by 1/7, 1/7. So we multiply both the denominator and the numerator by 1/7. So that will cancel the 7 in the down here. Then over here also cancel the 7. Then over here we'll get 1/7 times 9, which is 9/7 here. Now what do we do next? Since the denominators are equal, we equate the numerators. So we have this equation here. We can find r by inspection. You know that when you put -4 into this equation, we get rid of this. This thing becomes 0. So we put -4 into this equation, and we are going to get something like this. 15 minus 2 times -4 is equal to r into -4 minus 3. This one, -4 plus 4 will be 0. So plus 0, which is the same thing here. Now we simplify this. This will give us -7r. So we divide through by r to get -23/7. The table shows the distribution of marks by some students in a text. Use this information to answer questions 39 and 40. What is the upper class boundary of the upper quartile class? So the upper quartile class is the third quartile. So we find that one, the class that corresponds to 3/4 of the summation of the frequencies. So the summation of the frequencies is this: 4 plus 12 plus 16 plus 6 plus 2. So that will give us the 30th occurrence. So we are going to add from the down here. So 4 plus 12 plus 16. 4 plus 12 is 16 plus 16 is 32. So it is corresponding to this class here. The 30th occurrence is located here. Now what do? We need to find them. Then we are supposed to find the upper class boundary. So the upper class boundary will be 19.5 because we subtract 0.5 from 20 and add 0.5 to 29. So the lower class boundary is 19.5. Is it 19.5? They say upper class. Okay, the upper class boundary is what they are looking for. So the answer will be 29.5. Okay. Number 40, find the modal class mark. Modal class mark. So the modal class mark is a mark that represents the modal class. The modal class mark is a mark that represents the modal class. It's different from the mode of the distribution. So find the modal class mark. That will be, what is the modal class mark? So this is the modal class. So the mark that represents the modal class mark is the addition of this and this divided by 2, the midpoint of this, or the class midpoint. So what they're asking is, what is the class midpoint of this, which is 49/2, and that is 24.5. So this is the end of the paper. Thank you very much for watching this up to this point. Please do not forget to subscribe and keep coming for more solutions. We'll be uploading the other papers soon, the core mathematics and the paper 2 of both elective and core math. So please subscribe to this channel for more tutorials.